Give up the ghost at the feast. At the fiscal moly, armor from a lifetime ago, and Barbara strapped a bow. It is the stomach that carries the feet. You cannot is nearer than the day to come. Die, hero, die, hero, die, hero, die.
One of the most fantastic things that happened when I read the book was that I went into it thinking I knew what it was about, you know, because as you say, it's so ubiquitous, this image of Don Quixote. And I was so completely blown away by how wrong I was.
Don Quixote, the bookish dreamer who becomes a knight to save the weak and innocent, continues to fascinate 400 years after Cervantes first created his character.
The idea of kind of this skeletal figure made me think of percussion, and you know, I relate music and story together so closely in my mind that you know, as I was reading the book, you know, the musical piece I was already starting to form in my head. I
think as Amy and I took on the novel, what was interesting was, I mean, it's a fat book. And it's very episodic. There are lots of little events and stories that go on and on. So if you were trying to unfurl that in sort of a linear way, it would be impossible in the course of a piece like this. What can you take away and then leave this thing that still feels like it has everything that's so important about the work? Not necessarily in the same order as the book, not necessarily every micro event, but the essence. We could just start, from you when you're behind. That's great. That's
last couple measures again. Okay. You want to try it? Okay. Anytime.
Amy Beth Kirsten and Mark DeChiazza created their new work with Howl, an ensemble including a soprano, mezzo-soprano, contralto, and 4 singing percussionists. One of the percussionists played the character of Quixote. He was laying on what looked like an operating table, with a huge live video projection giving the audience an aerial view. Quixote was geared up in a suit of armor literally made out of junk, becoming an instrument that was played.
I think you can't overstate how important the performers have been in this whole piece. You know, because we come in with an idea and they breathe life into it, and that sparks something else for us. And, you know, so they're very much a part of the evolution of the ideas and the music in a way that, I mean, is just, it's very unique, this whole experience, because you normally don't get that kind of thing.
Something happy, let us give him something happy, let us give him something happy, let us check.
Amy Beth and Mark have been developing Quixote at Montclair State University for over 2 years. It's the first in a new program of extended residencies at MSU's Peak Performances, a series focusing on cutting-edge interdisciplinary work and featuring internationally acclaimed artists.
What is Peak Performances? Peak Performances is a high-risk performing arts presenting, producing festival here in New Jersey. That's what it is. They said they were dreaming about Don Quixote, and they wanted to create a work in which a book, the pages of a book, became musical notes. What is that? I wanted to find out. That was it. It was not that more complicated than that. I mean, they invited this entire building, everybody who works here, to dream along with them. I wanted to dream along with them.
What Jed's done, and the whole staff of MSU in creating a kind of a laboratory like this, where work that takes experimentation with performers. We couldn't have done this under any other circumstance, especially on this scale, with this many people and this many moving parts. It's such a great opportunity that we got to do this here.
He was a fine knight, and wise and of goodly stature.
So the way in which someone walks, or the way in which a prop or something might move across the stage, and the way that it makes noise is part of the world that she is imagining. It's called The Courts of Death.
Matthew Tanico is a scholar in residence for this production at Montclair State University.
There are sounds that are either described in the book or alluded to in the book, but then what Amy Beth does, which is this kind of brilliant quixotic move, is she understands that even the book itself makes sound. Knights don't exist anymore because soldiers exist, right? And
Matthew has been a guest lecturer in humanities classes.
To say this is a version of Quixote, and maybe you'll like that version better than the original.
Other students have been involved on the technical end.
The class I'm taking now is called Projection Design, and that's with Ryan Graves, who's the production manager here at the Castor Theater. So we kind of, see it from its small seedlings up to its full development into a production here.
So the story of Don Quixote, in terms of this production, is really about a man who is searching for his identity in the world, and he's recollecting a life. He's towards the end of his life looking back on this experience that he had and trying to make sense of who he has been as this person named Don Quixote.
I felt really strongly connected to the character. He's somebody who wills himself into existence through the use of his imagination because of books, and to me that, it's an interesting topic for today. I'm not a political composer at all, I really just fall in love with characters